is a special presentation on TNN, the Nashville Network.
Last October at Rockingham, David Green celebrated his Busch Series championship. The man who chased him for second in the points, Chad Little, picked up last week where he left off last year, dropping low under Steve Grissom and winning the Goodies 300 at Daytona, while half the field piled up behind him. It was a smashing end to the race for some. But today, the clock turns back to zero. The 94 champion and last week's winner square off from the front row.
Good afternoon and welcome everybody to the beautiful Sand Hills country of North Carolina. We're here at the North Carolina Motor Speedway near Rockingham, where TNN proudly presents the Goodwrench 200. I'm Glenn Jarrett. We'll have all the exciting action of this Busch Grand National race starting in just a moment. Right now we're talking to Chad Little, whom I'm sure you know won the Goodies 300 last week at Daytona. Chad, you're starting on the outside pole today. You used a provisional last week from 42nd to win the race. Things should be a little easier today.
It should be a little easier. You know, we won last weekend, but who wants to start at the back and come all the way to the front? Take a chance of too many accidents. So our car's running good this weekend, and we're just hoping to have some luck and bring Harris Teeter their first victory.
Well, keep your eye on this young man, ladies and gentlemen. We feel he's going to be one of the guys to contend for the title this year. The guy he's trying to dethrone is standing by with Randy Pemberton.
And this guy is David Green, of course, the 1994 Busch Series champion. Kind of glad to be out of Daytona. He didn't have the best of luck down there, although you came out of there with a 14th. Here we are at Rockingham. The racing really starts now.
Yeah, it really does. And we was glad to get out 14th there at Daytona. And here we are at Rockingham, the grassroots of racing. And I tell you, the Slim Jim Monte Carlo was awesome in practice, awesome in qualifying. Chad Little's right over here beside him. It's going to be a great race. Ford Chevrolet right up here on the front row.
I'll tell you how confident these guys are. This is a former road race car that David brought here. They just reskinned it, put the Monte Carlo sheet metal on it, and he's ready to go. He's on the pole here this afternoon. Now let's go upstairs to the guy that'll call all the action today, Mike Joy.
Well, thanks, Randy, and hello, everyone. Daytona is a fading memory now, and it's a week unto itself like no other on the Busch Grand National Circuit. You run your car there all week, you put your foot to the floor, and you wait and see who's around at the finish. But today, many of these teams feel the season starts in earnest because there's much more to racing at the Rock than there is of the week of the hype and the pageantry and excitement of Daytona. Let me go to my colleagues, Darrell Waltrip and Buddy Baker. Is this a whole different race than what we saw at Daytona?
Yeah, you know, Daytona is highly technical. You go down there with aerodynamics in mind and drafting and position yourself to be in the right place at the end of the race. You throw all that away when you get here. This is all handling, all horsepower, and it's just really grassroots racing. It's what makes these guys what they are. It's what they're used to, little half miles and three-quarter miles and then a mile like this. So we're going to see a great race today, a lot different than what we saw last week. I don't know about the finish. It may end up being about like last week, but I think the racing will be a little different.
Well, Professor Buddy Baker, who's instructed many a driver here at Rockingham at the Buck Baker Racing School, boy, this is not just a horsepower track, is it?
No, it's definitely a handling racetrack, and this really gets the teams together now. The ones that can prepare a car in 2 days instead of 2 months, and this is where it all starts back right here.
Only 2 days of practice, only one round of qualifying, so it's been a tough test just to get in this show. Let's welcome the newest member of our TNN team. On Sundays, he's the crew chief, team leader for Robert Yates Racing, the Texaco Haviland star that Dale Jarrett drives. Larry McReynolds, welcome aboard.
Hey, thanks, Mike. I'm going to tell you, I am really proud to be part of the TNM family this year, and I'm going to really work hard running up and down pit road, checking in on what teams are doing and the different strategies that they are using. For example, Larry Pearson, who failed to make this race a year ago, starting 18th, had a practice crash yesterday, has had to go to a backup car without any practice at all. It'll be interesting to see how he can get to the front.
Thanks, Larry. Glad to have you with us. Let's have a look at the starting lineup for today's Goodwrench 200. Busch champion David Green has his 11th career pole, and Chad Little, first-time winner last week. They share the front row, Chevy and Ford. Derek Cope, who won last year at New Hampshire, and David Bonnet, who started on the outside row here last year. Row number 3, Mark Martin, a 5-time Busch Series winner here, and Morgan Shepherd won this race back-to-back, 86 and 87. Hermie Sadler ran third here a year ago, and Jeff Green is Dale Earnhardt's new driver. They're in row 4. Elton Sawyer, his second straight top 10 qualifying effort, and Mike McLaughlin, his third start here. Row 6, Tracy Leslie looking for his first win in 2 seasons, and Mike Wallace, 3-time Busch winner last year. Jason Keller was 8th here 2 years ago. Johnny Benson Jr., the Rookie of the Year. Curtis Markham off the Busch North Series, and Bobby Doddard. Row number 9, Doug Heverin in the Mike Laughlin car, and 2-time Busch champ Larry Pearson. Row number 10, Dirk Stevens back from Daytona, and Jeremy Mayfield, Winston Cup sophomore, makes his first start in the Busch Series. Phil Parsons, 2nd year in '89, and Stevie Reeves in what was Harry Gant's ride. Stanton Barrett, 22-year-old Californian, makes his 3rd Rockingham start, and defending race champion Terry Labonte. Dale Williams, 56-year-old Busch rookie from California, and Rodney Combs. Then it's Joe Bessie and Tim Feedaway in the 14th row. Row 15, Dennis Setzer and Kevin LePage. Row 16 is Bobby Hillen and Jim Bound. Row 17, John Tanner from the Open Wheel IMSA Saab Series, and Shauna Robinson. Row 18, former National Modified champ Jeff Fuller, now a Busch rookie, and Kevin Simmons, 39 years old, makes his Busch Series debut today. Jerry Foyt, that's AJ's son, making his maiden voyage at the Rock, and Patty Moise. Robbie Reiser and L.W. Miller, 21-year-old from Pennsylvania. Tommy Houston and Kirk Shelmerdine take the provisional positions. Here are the drivers who did not qualify for today's 200 at Rockingham. AutoZone preps you for the race with these race facts. 42 cars will start over the 197-lap distance. Mark Martin holds the race record. Pace car speed 50 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour down pit road. Let's show you who we'll be riding along with today. Bobby Hillen Jr. in the Beanaloo Lance Snacks number 20. I'll give you these pictures from inside his car and from the passenger dog cam, or doggy out the window cam as we call it, out there on the window sill of the right side of the car. And we'll also be riding with Mark Martin, trying to put the Winn-Dixie Ford all the way to the front of the checkout counter, looking over Mark's shoulder. And again, from the right side passenger window, looking over there at Jeff Green. And also we'll have this view out the back of Mark's car. And we'll be able to show you our TNN picture-in-picture from Mark Martin's car. Look at what he'd see out that right side mirror as it's positioned much where it would be. Mark gets ready to go to work, and we're ready to go racing at the Rock as the TNN Live NASCAR season gets started in earnest here with the Goodwrench 200. We're under green, and it's Chad Little, not David Green, leading the charge into turn 1. Chad Little with a car length breakaway.
I don't know if the fans at home can tell it or not, but these cars this year make a totally new sound. They got the V8 engine in them versus the 6-cylinder from last year. Boy, I've got a car smoking in the middle of 3 and 4 there.
Out of 4, back to the stripe, complete lap 1. A little bit of smoke off car number 35.
I tell you, Chad Little jumped out to a pretty commanding lead there all of a sudden.
That's Doug Heveron in the 35 car. That's got to be a disappointment this early in the race to be smoking. But I tell you, smoking right now, Chad Little's built up almost 11 car length lead, and it's just a couple of laps here.
Yeah, and there's some real dicing going on behind him, so he's liable to pull away from these guys here for a while.
David Green has broken free of traffic. Up there in the 2nd spot, David Bonnet right behind him. There's Chad Little's lead, and you can see them all snaking around and looking for position as they head off into turn 3.
Yeah, you can look for some 3 abreast down the front straightaway here. These cars are really racing hard, and so we're back in the field here a little bit. That's Jeff Green in the 3 car there. You can see Dale Earnhardt in the meantime.
And the number 90 car of Mike Wallace started way to the back. Randy Pemberton, what's the story?
Well, I'll tell you what the problem is. No one has showed up to pick his pit stall when pit stalls were picked here at Rockingham. Unfortunately, when no one showed up, they pushed his car to the backstretch. So, Darrell Waltrip, I'm sure you and Buddy Baker can both attest to the fact that it is very difficult to win a race here at Rockingham when you have to pick on the backstretch, although it can be done, but it's certainly putting Mike Wallace in a hole.
Yeah, I wish he hadn't mentioned that, because that's where I'm going to be tomorrow. And if the thing stays up under green, it's not too bad. But up under caution, every time you get a caution, you go over the back, you're going to come out behind a lot of cars that you already passed. So it does add a degree of difficulty to trying to win a race.
Things have settled down a bit single file until you get back to about 8th place. With a side by side, and there is that battle. Elton Sawyer and Morgan Shepherd, that's your wearing number 21. Sawyer's Ford Credit Ford. And Morgan has spent the entire race so far up on the high side, and now he's going to get single file.
The 34 car there, that's a new look, a new sponsor this year for Mike McLaughlin. He's running very well right now. Right now is kind of a sparring match for these guys. They're out there trying to find out what they need to do on their stops to make these cars handle a little better, because this racetrack changes by the hour.
Yeah, and the thing about it is the cars are different. They got 100 pounds in them over last year, 100 pounds heavier than they were last year, and they got the V8 engine in here. So actually getting into competition with these cars, guys are going to go through a big learning curve for a while.
That's Jason Keller in the 57, and Johnny Benson in the new Lipton T-colors for the Base Motorsports team number 74. Taking over a spot. Trouble in turn 2. One car spinning.
Whoa,
2 cars. And everybody else might get through it. Woof, they do. Dale Williams of Sacramento, California, the lease code number 56, was the first car to spin at turn 2. And there you see the damage on Stanton Barrett's Wendy Chevrolet.
I would say Bobby Hillen probably had some decent shots of that.
Barrett also got up into the wall as you saw the damage to the back of his machine. There's Williams spinning.
Boy, that's a bad feeling, Darrell, when you look and see all these cars coming at that driver door. You don't want to get hit in the driver's door at all.
Oh, no.
There's Stanton Barrett.
The one thing he did great right there, there's Bobby Hillen going by on the outside with the brakes locked.
Locked it up and held it there. We're under caution for the first time today at the Rock. 9 laps are complete in the Goodwrench 200. We'll be right back.
On Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. By the more than 700 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the right parts at the right price. By Mr. Goodwrench, the GM expert at participating dealerships. And by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR.
As we get set for the restart, here's today's AutoZone Tech Facts showing you the differences now have really narrowed between the Winston Cup and the Busch cars here. They only weigh 100 pounds difference. The Cup cars still cost a lot more to run, but the Busch cars with those 9-to-1 V8s have really kind of moved a little closer to what a Winston Cup car is.
Yeah, it's really a good deal. It's going to give these guys a better feel of what a Winston Cup car feels like, and if they want to make the move up, they're going to have a lot more experience with the right kind of car.
Yeah, and the horsepower difference and the balance of the car itself, because the front end on a V6 is so much lighter than a V8 that it drives quite a bit different.
And now at all the tracks, the Busch cars will run the same tire compound as the Winston Cup cars.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to get the cars more like they used to be years ago when I started driving Cup in the Busch.
There is no restart. They were anticipating a start. The pace car did not pull in. The lights stayed on.
Somebody probably held up their hands and it wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, right.
wasn't us.
I've told the viewers he sees this thing in a different light from a lot of people.
Bobby Hillen is climbing out of the Fina Lube Lance Snacks Ford. We had hoped to bring you pictures from that car throughout the day, and that is the last picture you'll see. Tough break for Hillen, who got involved in that last lap tangle, or last green lap tangle at Daytona.
He didn't hit anything up there when that car spun, but I think he must have torn up something in the driveline. What do you think?
Yeah, when you have to use that much brake, there's a lot of chance of maybe the rear wheel starting to hop or something, maybe jerk the gear out or maybe tear up the drive shaft.
So Chad Little is the leader. David Green's in second. David Bonnet is the third place driver. As we get ready to restart, Derek Cope is fourth. Mark Martin is fifth. Sixth is Hermie Sadler. Seventh, Morgan Shepherd. And eighth, Mike McLaughlin.
While we're at it, David Bonnet is driving the wheels off this car. He's in third place right now. And I tell you what, this is an effort by this kid.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know we've only run 10 laps or so in the race, but he did some side-by-side racing here with Derek Cope and really showed a lot of savvy.
He shows a little savvy getting into the back bumper of David Green right there to get things restarted and going. Single file down the backstretch. One car there you saw smoking out of turn number 2 pretty heavily. That's once again the 35 of Doug Heveron on restarts.
A lot of cars got some damage from that wreck down there. Very little damage, but they did get some damage from slowing down.
The car you see going very slow there is Stanton Barrett. You can see the left rear corner of that car is torn up quite a bit, and that might, well, as I say, that the 35 car goes to the outside, Doug Heveron there. He's still smoking and still going.
Battles for third place as they come around. You see Barrett there down to the inside.
Don't want to wear out about the smoking thing, buddy, but a lot of times these cars will have too much fluid in them and in the transmission or something. That'll blow out and everything will be fine.
That was a major league move on Bonnet's part there. Derek Cope got underneath him getting in the corner there, and he moved over. He says, a little early.
Trouble, turn 2.
Oh,
4 cars are in it. 17, Robbie Reiser and Dale Williams, the rookie from California, who does such a great job on the Southwest Tour last year, get wrapped in it in turn 2.
Well, now, what David Bonnet did, he moved over and let Cope get by. That avoided a problem like this. That's 2 guys trying to go into one place there. That's what caused this wreck.
The yellow car is Williams, and the green one, Robbie Reiser.
Oh, Robbie sideways getting in the corner. Now you see the lower groove is completely blocked there.
Patty Moise.
Woo. Whoa, I'm telling you. Oop.
And the 51 of Jim Bound taking evasive action. They just missed being a part of that.
Mike, it's very hard to miss somebody on this racetrack. The good groove is right around the bottom, and when you have to go up like that and the car comes up in front of you, very little chance of you turning back to the bottom.
Well, they'll try to get Dale Williams back into this race. We've now completed 17 laps, and we're under the second caution of the day at the unyielding Rock. Let's go back to Rockingham as we complete 20 laps. Hermie Sadler made a pit stop, giving up his 7th place position as you watch from the steel aerial platform up and over the North Carolina Motor Speedway. Nice crowd on hand today for this Saturday race.
We had a near miss here.
We'll see it in a second. Here's the crash first, buddy.
Yeah, this is the hit here.
You can see Reiser getting sideways there. Look at Patty Moise. You talk about evasive.
Yep.
Watch her go to the bottom and right by.
They might have made a little contact. Hard to tell just at the start of that.
I think she played that real cool.
But look at this next shot.
There's the aftermath.
Yeah.
And everybody is okay.
Yeah, this doesn't have anything to do with the wreck now.
Wow.
Whoa. Jeff Green getting into Curtis Markham in the Lysol number 63. Nice save, Curtis.
Well, that makes me feel better, buddy.
Why is that?
I always thought it was Dale that did that. It's that car that does that. Bad car.
Right.
No biscuit.
Yeah. Let's get this restarted. 21 laps complete this time around. Chad Little in the Harris Teeter number 23 takes off with the lead. David Green right with him.
Yeah, this is a little better start. It looks like you're holding your positions a little bit better. Chad didn't get quite the jump on everybody he did on the restart there just a second ago.
Well, sometimes you just, your tire pressure is ideal for the start of the race, and everybody else maybe has got to build up a little bit before they can run as good as he could. He definitely had an advantage.
This is Mark Martin's car. You can see the cars jump around quite a bit. That's David Bonnet's car just in front. The back end was just jumping around, getting up off the corner. That's very normal.
Yeah, the trolling motor on David's car I don't think is fully in the water.
No. Well, I love that in-car camera with Mark. It really makes me know that he's working so hard.
Yep.
He's in there just barely turning that steering wheel.
Look at David Bonnet actually getting the corner just a little bit better than the 60 car, but I'm afraid that Mark will eventually take over.
That's the Delta Voyager Humminbird Chevy. That's one of your old race cars.
Yeah, it is. And I think what's happened there is Hank Parker probably told Mark, I need a little TV time here from a sponsor.
Well, Hank's got his own show on TNN. He'll be on later today. He owns the car that David Bonnet's driving, 03.
The third car in that shot is Morgan Shepherd. That's his new Cheerwine sponsorship there, the red and white car you see.
Yeah, old Hank, I think I got a big partner.
This could be a record.
Fish, that is. 23 laps.
I was just kidding.
Okay, Forrest. Back up front, Chad Little's begun to get a little distance now on David Green.
Well, Derek Cope's trying to get by Green right now. He's working that back bumper over. I mean, he's been to the inside. He's tried him on the outside. David Green's got a tremendous forward bite up off the corner, though.
And isn't it kind of interesting the different kind of race that David Green is running here this time than when we were here in the fall last year? Last year, he wouldn't have probably run that hard or, running for the championship.
see Mark is still trying to get by David Bonnet. Now he makes the pass, and he brought Morgan Shepherd right along with him.
Mark's car looks like it's got quite a bit of bounce through in the corner. We saw those in-car pictures of David Bonnet, and here looking back at Morgan's car. Mark's number 60. I think it's Mark's car. Looks, you know, the car looks stable because the camera's mounted fixed to the car.
That's one of the few times I've ever seen the 60 car get passed by anybody under the green later on as the race gets along. Morgan Shepherd's got this baby dialed in because Mark Martin does not get passed very many times.
Well, and if my calculations are right, we got Ford running first, second, fourth, and fifth. So looks like the Fords are handling that Monte Carlo pretty good here.
And something's happened to David Bonnet. You see he's no longer among those front four. He has drifted well back to battle Johnny Benson. Now this is outside the top 10. David got up in that high groove and never got back down, buddy.
It's pretty slick on the outside there, so he needs to get back in the groove and kind of get those tires back under him.
27 laps are complete here at the North Carolina Motor Speedway, and it's been Chad Little all the way so far. So far over David Green, who's now relinquished the second spot to Derek Cope. Hermie Sadler's gone behind the wall. Bobby Hillen is already there. Dale Williams with crash damage, and Robbie Reiser as this race begins to unfold.
I was told by some of these guys that the tires really were giving up quite a bit after 30, 40 laps, and the wear was pretty critical. At about 70 laps, tires were worn out, so it'll be interesting to see how they go today.
You know, we were talking just a second ago that Morgan Shepherd had passed the 60 car and Mark Martin. Well, it's in reverse now. Mark Martin's almost 8 or 9 car lengths out in front of, as you see they pass here. Mark Martin's really on the move right now. That car continually gets stronger as you get under green.
And the difficulty with David Bonnet's car, he has a right rear tire going flat, Glenn informed us during the break. Here's Randy.
Well, Bobby Hillen has climbed from his Fina Ford, and we're staying in the infield. The car looks clean. You followed that wreck through, but you're back here in the garage. What happened?
Yeah, Randy, it was just a coincidence. As we were going down the front straightaway before that accident, I noticed we were losing oil pressure. I don't know if we ran over something and knocked the belt off or what, but then I was getting ready to shut off, then they had that accident, so I just kicked it neutral and avoided that accident, rolled down pit road, and they couldn't even turn the motor over, so it's seized up, and that means we're done for the day, and I hate it for Fina and for Lance. We've got great sponsors, and we've got a great race team. The guys are working very, very hard, and we're just behind right now, but we're going to catch up, and we're going to win some races this year.
Okay, good luck next race. Okay, Glenn Jarrett?
Well, another guy that has pulled his car behind the wall awfully early is Bobby Dotter in the High Tool Chevrolet. Bobby, what happened to the car?
Well, the car was handling real good. It's our best qualifying ever here, and all of a sudden it just started getting slower and slower, and we lost them one motor during practice here, and it appears as though we may have broken another one.
You'll try to fix it and get it back in if you can.
We're going to see if it's just a rocker arm or something, because, like I said, the High Tools car was running real well, and we're looking for good things.
Well, it doesn't sound too positive about getting back in, guys.
Thanks, Glenn. Also, Hermie Sadler's car is behind the wall. The DeWalt Tools Monte Carlo has the hood up. 35 laps have been completed. Chad Little has led them all. He's now put a lap on Larry Pearson and puts a lap on rookie Jerry Foyt.
A couple of things, Mike. When Hillen was shut off down there, engine off, and that wreck happened in front of him, he had no power steering. So he did an excellent job of jerking that car past that wreck right there at the last second. The other thing is David Bonnet, I think, probably is a little lack of experience there. If the car had a tire going down, it would be flat by now. He's probably gotten real bad loose, and it just feels like he's got a tire going down, which is what's happening to a lot of these cars, I believe.
Could well be. Here's Tracy Leslie in 72, the Detroit Gasket car, battling Mike Wallace and Terry Labonte. This battle is for 10th position.
My old buddy Terry, he had engine trouble in practice, and he had to change engines, and he's slipping right on up through the field, and I bet you before the day's over, we say, where did he come from?
Darrell, there's 18 Luminas in this race, only 6 Monte Carlos. Is the Monte Carlo sheet metal hard to come by for these teams, or did they just have their cars for here already built?
I think that's the big thing. Everybody's just fighting the time factor, and they didn't have time to build Monte Carlos. And there's still some conjecture in this series about which one's the best. So I'm sure they'll switch to Monte Carlos eventually, but right now they're just using what they got.
Let's have a look at our first Napa field standing update. Napa, we keep America running. Here's how they're running. See Chad Little coming up on Patty Moise, the Dial Purex car. Looking on the bottom, looking.
Have a little patience. That car is running too fast to stick it in the trunk of somebody's car. That car is a rocket ship right now.
And you know, we saw at Daytona, buddy, the Fords really seem to accelerate well off the corners, and that's what you need here, and that's what Chad's car is doing right now. It's getting up off the corners.
He has a 2.4-second lead over Derek Cope, Mark Martin, David Green, and Morgan Shepherd.
You know, you're talking about the car this and the car that. He's probably had this good a car, but that old thing, momentum. When you win Daytona and come here, you have a little momentum going with you, too.
Yeah, I was impressed with him at the end of the year because he really ran well most all the latter part of the year.
And he's picked up right where he left off. Chad Little has led every one of the 41 laps so far. We'll be back with you live on TNN after this. Today at 5:30 Eastern Time, they'll dance outdoors. Immediately followed by Hank Parker's Outdoor Magazine at 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on TNN, the Nashville Network. Chad Little, Harris Teeter number 23, has led every lap so far, picking up right where he left off at Daytona. Different colors, different race car, same team, of course. And Little, the point leader. Let's look back and find Mark Martin. There's the second place car, the number 60 Winn-Dixie Ford for Mark Martin. And the Ron Zook Racing number 82, driven by Derek Cope, has picked up a new sponsor this season, Health South. That's the third running car. Here he is. Bit of a gap back as Morgan Shepherd battles side by side to take that spot away.
You know, the good thing about this new engine rule, the 9-to-1 V8, it's brought a lot of different engine builders into the Busch Series. Keith Dorton comes to mind, and of course Ron Hutter and Carl Wagner, and then some of the teams are doing some of their stuff in-house. Terry Labonte's doing some stuff in-house, and it's really opened up the door for a lot of engine builders.
Here is Larry Pearson, the Stanley Tools number 92. Let's check with Larry McReynolds.
We've gotten the word from the crew chief from the Stanley 2 car that they're not only are they fighting a car that they didn't get any practice with, that they're having problems with the rear brakes. And even though Rockingham's a speedway, brakes is a real important factor to use here at Rockingham. So, you know, they're going to keep fighting it. Not only are they not getting cautions, but what cautions they've got have been so short that there just hadn't been time to work on the car.
Thanks, Larry. Larry Pearson has now gone 2 laps down.
Yeah, you can see how easy Chad went right on by. What he probably has, Darrell, is the rear brakes are working too well, and the fronts are not working well enough, and he's got a condition if he drives in real hard and hits the brakes and turns the car sideways.
Yeah, you know, on a track like this, any track a mile or bigger probably, you'd be better off with no rear brakes than you would to have too much rear brakes. So he's just really got his hands full with that thing. He tries to lock the rear wheels up every time he goes in the corner. And he may learn, you know, maybe that's what happened to the car he crashed. Maybe he had a problem there and he didn't know it.
I'm seeing one thing. I'm seeing the better handling race cars really dominate right at this point, and that, you know, that's going to play tomorrow because the Winston Cup cars run the same tires as these cars run. So, boy, oh boy, you got a real practice session coming up after the race is over today.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing I keep telling my guys. My car is terminally slow, but it feels like it's ready to race. It feels really good for racing, and I'm kind of excited about that. I wish I wasn't on the other side of the racetrack, but
we'll check that out tomorrow. Right now, let's go down behind pit wall. Here's Glenn.
The engine you're looking at belongs to car number 1, Hermie Sadler. Hermie's got a problem. He just has crawled out of the car. Hermie, what happened?
I made a mistake on the second restart. I went from second to third and missed a gear and evidently broke a valve spring or something. And by this stage, we had to get some points, and it just kept on getting slower and slower. So it's terminal now, and we can't get back. I hate for these guys on this DeWalt Chevrolet crew. It's the best car I've had in my life, and it's a shame, but we'll go back to Richmond and try it again.
Hey, Hermie Sadler not off to a good start this year in chasing that championship.
see, when you own your own car, which Hermie does this year, you can admit you made a mistake because the car owner's not going to be standing there shaking his finger at you.
Look at this. Terry Labonte in the MW Windows number 14 is coming on for 6th place, just passing Johnny Benson.
Boy, oh boy, they call him the Iceman. You can see this race car is really hooked up. He goes in the corner, you never see the car bobble, and he is very, very good getting back on the throttle, not to break the rear wheel loose coming up out of the corner.
You know what's really neat about Terry, I think? I mean, he's a guy that was in obscurity for the most part. We talked about him, or, you know, we thought about him not very often in races. Last year he came on.
Just as we said that, he just took a chunk out of the 9 cork going down the front straightaway there.
Well, the horn's working good on his car.
Yeah, he's coming right up on Derek Cope. This battle will be for 5th place.
And then the thing is he got in the truck race out at Phoenix and he runs 2nd. And I mean, the guy, it just shows you what kind of talent he has and how much momentum means.
There is a good classic example of a car that's hooked up. A Cope could not even block him going in the corner. He just drove right up under him and away.
Let's check with Larry.
I talked to Steve Neal, crew chief for the Mark Martin team, and they feel like they're in good shape against Chad Little. A car they're really concerned about right now is Terry Labonte, because they said he's certainly coming up through the field and coming fast.
Labonte is flying. Recall that he qualified, or was a second-day qualifier, and started this race 24th. There's Labonte's number 14. Moving on up.
Darrell, he likes it just like we do, hot and slick. You see him pick it up. When the racetrack gets slick like that, he starts picking the pace up.
Well, this is not the same racetrack that we raced on last year. It laid here all winter. The surface is not quite as sticky as it was last year, and these cars are having their hands full in the race.
Well, they may not be worried about Chad Little, but Chad Little don't seem to be worried. You see him going through lap traffic here. That car is really hooked up. He's doing a whale of a job.
You know, the thing about Chad Little is he keeps you on the edge of your seat, too, doesn't he? Even leading the race as far out front as he is, he ain't letting up for nothing. He's pushing that thing.
Number 23, Chad Little, putting a lap here on the red car of Tommy Houston. We've completed some 60 laps. We'll be right back. We'll stay right here as the car is in the wall on the back straightaway. Number 9, Kevin Simmons, driving for Randy Owen. Randy Baker, the crew chief on that car, and Simmons appears to have gotten into one or both walls here.
Boy, that's a lot of damage to the right rear corner there. You can bet that chassis is really crumpled up.
Well, there's a bunch of people who are glad to see that caution. The way Chad Little was running, he was going to put a lot of people lap down if he didn't catch a caution here pretty quick.
Simmons was one of 3 V6 powered cars in the race. The V6 engines are still legal. Kevin Simmons, Jerry Foyt, Stanton Barrett.
Oh, that's
the classic suck the air off my spoiler move right there.
You see the roof flap that it employed there as he hits the inside wall. It didn't get off the ground, but it sure hit the wall pretty hard.
And that'll put us under the 3rd caution of the day. It comes out at lap 61. There you see the tire marks from Kevin Simmons, and right next to them a pair of a lot of tire marks coming off turn 2 there, buddy.
Okay, you've been around this racetrack, both of you guys. When you come off that corner, you need a lot of racetrack. When you try to hold that car down like that, you can't get in the throttle hard and turn down, because if you do, it'll spin right on around on you.
There's a transition over there off the corner onto the straightaway, and when it makes that transition, the back end will come out.
First pit stop of the day for the leaders. Let's go down to Chad Little's pit.
And the crew goes to work. They will change 4 tires. They had planned to come in on lap 80. That's about how long that the crew chief, Gary Coxwell, told me that they could go on tires. The tire rule today is 2 tires per position under caution. So this is their first caution. Obviously, they're going to change all 4 tires, fill it up with fuel. They said no way whatsoever would they make any chassis adjustment on this car. Chad says it's perfect. He has proven it. That was a little bit of a long pit stop, but he does beat Mark Martin out. Mark is down. He also changed 4 tires. So both those 4s are away.
And here's Terry Labonte just coming in.
No, he's just going out.
I'm sorry, just going out. He was pitted at the other end of the pit lane. 32-second stop, and we'll be back as they'll pick up the number 9 of Kevin Simmons. We'll be right back. "64 laps complete, pit stops just about finished here on both the front and the back straightaways. Chad Little won the dash off pit lane.
Yeah, he did.
He
beat Mark's crew out, and you know, Mark's got his Cup crew over there working, so that's pretty impressive. He's got it together today. Chad Little does.
And a good stop for Terry Labonte, got him up to 5th.
You know, Tracy Leslie had been in the top 10 all day, and he had to make 2 stops then. I hope it wasn't anything that put him out of the race or anything.
I think it looked, buddy, like they just came in to retighten the left lug nuts when he came back in the 2nd time. He is still on the lead lap.
Well, this is a time in the race now where everybody's come in. They've made some chassis adjustments. We got 4 fresh tires on. We're going to see who's made out of what now.
We will shortly. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton.
Well, from time to time in the next few races with TNN, we're going to bring you some fast facts, so to speak, here. And you've heard the new sound of these Busch cars. Of course, now they are V8s on almost all the race cars. Now, you wonder, you've heard the terms 9.5 to 1 or 9 to 1 compression ratio. This is a new device NASCAR has come up with to check the compression ratio. They find out the cubic inch displacement on the car, and then they come over here, and what they would do is stick this air hose in the spark plug cylinder area, and then they will pump some air in it. And what they would find is they'll move the piston up and down and determine exactly what the compression ratio is in the engine. And basically, it's got a little whistler sound to it, and that's why they call it the Whistler. Just a new technological thing that NASCAR has come up with to keep everybody honest, and that's how they determine the new compression ratio in the Busch cars. Darrell, maybe you guys can expand on that just a little bit.
Well, of course, when you're limiting compression down to 9.5, actually, if you could fudge just a little bit, it'd make a tremendous difference.
Innovation in Motion, sponsored by Peerless Faucet. Get more out of your faucet than just water. We'll stay under caution here for another lap or two, so let's take this break from the North Carolina Motor Speedway. We'll be right back with you live on TNN.
200 on TNN. Just for men. The leader in men's hair coloring. Blends away gray in 5 minutes.
Now Morgan Shepherd's at the head of the line for the restart because he only took on 2 tires on his pit stop, Larry.
Talked to Dick Schultz, crew chief for the Morgan Shepherd car. I think there was a little bit of confusion on the pit stop whether they wanted to change 2 or 4. Now that they've only changed 2, they're looking at the fact that the car really didn't give up much during that run, so we'll see if it was a good move or not here when they go back to racing.
We're about to find out. And Shepherd is real slow pulling the trigger on Tommy Houston, who got out ahead of him from the lapped car lane on the outside, and now Shepherd goes.
Darrell, I got to tell you, I'd have been thinking 4 myself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his problem now is if it goes green for a while and he has to stop, he's going to have to take 4 tires up under green, and that's going to be a killer.
Into turn 3, Shepherd with the lead. Little right behind him, Mark Martin in 3rd.
You know, when I first started racing, buddy, I'd give anything to lead the race. I probably wouldn't even took no tires if I could just be up front one time, especially on television.
You're looking out the front and the rear view, mirror view of Mark Martin's car.
That's the closest he's been to the 23 car all day. Chad Littleton just flawless. You see him looking to the inside. Morgan makes a move to the inside to counter move he's making, but I tell you, Chad's quite a bit faster right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go by and Mark Martin right behind him.
2 new tires for Shepherd, 4 new tires for Chad Little. Now Little has been the fastest car all day anyway.
Here comes Chad Little to the bottom of the racetrack. You won't see much of a battle here.
And Mark Martin in the number 60, the Winn-Dixie Ford going by. Now Jim Bound's car was smoking from the rear. He has taken it to the back pit area.
I'm really impressed with how that 23 gets off the corner. He really opens up.
Well, now we're really going to see with Mark Martin this close. You know how Mark goes. As the race goes, this car has always, the 60 car in second place there, has always gotten so much better as far as handling and all. You see Chad taking a little wider line than Mark Martin. That means this car is not sticking quite as well. But that car is a rocket ship down the straightaway.
Terry Labonte up high, and he's losing a bit of ground there to Derek Cope and the 99 of Phil Parsons. Just lost 4 spots.
Well, sometime when you come in and change 4 tires, sometime it changes the car that much, and it may take him a few laps to get the car going again. Because after a while, that's when he really got fast. Somebody's coming pit lane there. Who is it? 59?
Yeah, Dennis Setzer making a stop under green. As we watch Terry Labonte.
You see Terry dropping back here. One thing you do at Rockingham, we have Dennis Setzer in the pits right now.
Here's Randy.
Well, there's not much to say at this point. He cruised in here, not under power. Ricky Pearson put the hood up on the car. Looks like they're looking valve cover. Can't really tell, but the car is smoking a little bit. Utter disgust on the face of Dennis Setzer. A lot of the guys that finished well in the points last year certainly having trouble early on. Dennis Setzer, for the 2nd race in a row in this early season, is having trouble. They're looking underneath the car, but it doesn't look good.
Setzer in a Ford this year was running 21st and was well up with the lead pack at Daytona. Got involved in that late crash.
Yeah, but he had such a great run in Daytona and had problems right at the very end of the race, and here he's certainly facing more disappointment. Everybody thought this car may be in contention for the championship this year.
One of the things that the engine builders are telling me is these cars are running a roller camshaft in them this year, unlike some of the past years. And they're using, the valve train is being treated a lot rougher in these engines. They're 9-to-1 compression. You got to turn a lot of RPM to make them go. And it's causing a lot of valve train problems, valve springs, rocker arms, the roller lifters they use.
Well, now the 21, though, of Morgan Shepherd. Now he's on those 2 tires, and of course the 2 cars that have passed him have the 4 fresh ones. Larry, has he got his work cut out for him?
really think he does. You know, you can get by here now at Rockingham with just changing 2 tires, where before they repaved this place last year, you needed 4 tires after you'd run about 10 green laps because the surface was so abrasive. But, you know, he's still kind of holding his own, so we'll see what happens, especially if we have a long green run here.
That's really what's going to hurt Morgan, is if it goes green here for a long time, it's really going to hurt him with just 2 tires.
So Shepherd has drifted back to 3rd place.
This has been the heated battle. These guys have made about 3 or 4 attempts to pass each other there. As you can see, the 74 car there has really made a move on David Green. Johnny Benson in the 74 has just absolutely took over that spot, but they were running side by side for about 4 or 5 laps as we were talking about the lead cars.
Benson is up to 4th. With outside pole sitter David Green in the 44 now in 5th place. Lap past Dale Williams.
This is one of those times, Mike, when you made that first caution flag stop and the driver comes in and says, put me a couple rounds of bite in the thing. Now he's calling back in saying, whoops, went the wrong way. We're going to have to take that back out next time in and go the other way.
4th and 5th place. Benson and Green. David Green off to a good start here, but how much pressure is on his team to repeat as Busch Series champion?
I think it's only, the pressure's only within us and within me as the driver to defend. I know this team is capable of doing it. They've done it once, they can do it again.
Having a solid run here so far. This group 3 seconds behind the race leader. Let's move a little further back to 9th place. Terry Labonte, the number 14, David Bonnet in that green numeral 03. And the number 50 car, that's the Bobby Jones team, Jeremy Mayfield out of Nashville, making his first Busch start in the Union Benefits Ford.
Well, I continue to be impressed with David today, Bonnet, because this is as well as he has run this long into any race I've watched him in, and he's keeping his nose clean. He's doing a pretty darn good job.
Yeah, when you run with Terry Labonte on Rockingham, you're coming along pretty well. He's actually gaining ground on Labonte. I think Labonte may have a tight condition on his car, though. He's not getting in the corner well. As you see, they're really picking up on him. They've closed 3 or 4 car lengths in the past 2 laps on him.
See, Labonte started 24th, worked his way to the front quickly.
Well, that car looks good. I can't figure out why he's not going faster unless he maybe has a cylinder get weak or something, because he's dropping back.
He's just tight. The car is tight right now, and it bogs it down a little bit, particularly 9-to-1 engine.
But he is running down Derek Cope.
Yeah, he's running well. He's not running as well as Chad or Mark, but he's still running very well.
This group is 9 seconds behind the race leader, Chad Little. Here's how they stand at Rockingham, 84 laps complete. Welcome back to Rockingham. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Darrell Waltrip. On pit road today, Randy Pemberton, Glenn Jarrett, and the new member of the TNN team, Larry McReynolds, for coverage of the Goodwrench 200. Let's have a look back and find Morgan Shepherd. There's your 3rd place car. Cheerwine number 21, behind Chad Little and Mark Martin.
Well, he's doing a lot better than I thought he was going to do, Buddy. He's keeping that gap between he and Mark about the same. So tires don't seem to be hurting.
And let's have a look a little further back and find this next crowd that's been battling hard.
That's Johnny Benson, the first car you see coming in there, and David Green just behind him in the Slim Jim car.
It's 4th and 5th place, and then Phil Parsons is in 6th. Good move up for the 99 car. Phil finished 2nd here in 1989, 2 seconds behind winner Harry Gant.
That's Derek Cope there in the 82 car on the outside going in the corner.
Said Harry watched the Daytona 500 from his couch. Watched it on the TV. Wish he'd been down there with us. He says he got plenty to do.
Yeah, we miss Harry. I particularly miss him in these Saturday races.
Yeah.
You know, last year doing them, and he always had something very colorful and fun to say.
Stevie Reeves in that Ed Whitaker car now.
You've had him all east there in the 40 car. I just turned the booth over up here.
Buddy just spun out the right-hand monitor in the booth as you watch Jason Keller in the Budget Gourmet, number 57, pull down on Derek Cope. Terry Labonte right there with him. Number 14, as they lap past Doug Hebron. Cincinnati Millicron Chevy, number 35. A lot of changes with sponsors, numbers, drivers, things this year on the Busch circuit. We'll try to get you updated as best we can today to how to recognize the drivers you're pulling for.
The cars become more and more colorful. I mean, it's a mixture of pinks and reds and yellows and blues, and everybody's kind of got their own deal.
Well, you're not exactly conservative yourself.
Is it tough, Darrell, the first couple of races for the driver to pull down on a certain car, not realize who's in it or what their style might be because it's changed?
Yeah, you're probably a little more cautious, particularly in this race where you don't know hardly anybody if you're a Cup driver.
See, Terry Labonte has found a way to make this car run a little bit faster. He's moved his groove up just a little bit. He's giving Derek Cope all he can stand right now. He will not jerk it to the bottom of the racetrack. You watch his line here. He'll let it go up the bank. Well, as I say that, he turns under him, and pass is coming off. I'm always right there.
See, what would Derek Cope, you were driving Derek Cope's car, and Terry went up Derek went up the hill, and Terry said, if you're going to go high, I'll just, if you're going to block me like that, I'll pass you. Derek was trying to block him, what he was trying to do.
And instead, he opened the door.
Well, that's Larry Pearson there going by right now. He's having a tough day of it. That car is not happening. He wrecked his primary car yesterday and had to take a backup.
With about 7 minutes to go in the last practice session, Pearson got into the wall. Here's your runaway race leader thus far, Chad Little. Harris Teeter, number 23, last week's winner at Daytona, last year's point-standing runner-up. Today's leader. We'll be right back. Fourth caution of the day is out. It happened at lap 101 as Kevin LePage and Mike McLaughlin just gently got together going into turn number 1 and spun. Only some of the cars in the lead lap are stopping. Here's Larry.
As predicted, the Morgan Shepherd cars in here taking on 4 tires. Don't see any chassis adjustments going on. They talk like they were still pretty happy with the car, considering they only changed 2 last time, but there was certainly some relief on everybody's face when the caution come out.
They only got 2 tires last time, as you recall, and this time they'll get all 4, but some of the leaders did not stop. Chad Little, Mark Martin did not choose to come in.
Yeah, I find that interesting because, you know, we got 90, I guess, laps to go, right at it, 95, I guess. I almost think you could make it that far if there was not another caution. So
they must be gambling there's going to be, because remember, you can only get 2 sets of tires total under the caution, so they must be saving that last set.
Darrell, do you think he might be waiting right to the end of the caution and maybe try to stretch it and get the last little bit of fuel in there they can?
No, I think if they were going to pit, they'd already come down, and I think it's kind of like what Mike said. They're just going to save that set of tires.
Well, let's check with Glenn.
We're standing by with Gary Cogswell. He is the crew chief on Chad Little's runaway Ford. Gary, what's the strategy now?
Well, you know, the car's running really good. We put 4 tires on in the first stop, didn't change a thing. Chad said the car's still driving good. Our times haven't fallen off much. We thought it was too early to come in now. We have to come in one more time for tires and gas. Hopefully we'll get another caution a little bit later.
You would have been stretching it a little bit to run like almost 100 laps on tires anyway, would you not have?
Yeah, it really would be. I mean, we could probably make it, but I think it'd be pretty well burned up at the end of the race. We just felt as though it's early to come in. We're in good track position. Our times are good.
He's counting on the fact that there are usually a few more caution flags here at the Rock.
Let's show you what happened on this last incident.
I think what happened was that 71 car saw that 43 car smoke a little. He got out of the throttle, and then Mike McLaughlin got into the back of him. Doesn't look like a lot of damage to either car. They both looked like they were kind of on the brakes and just locked it up and slid them around.
Nice move by 95 John Tanner, the Caterpillar car, to miss him. He was almost part of that.
Yeah, I think everybody did a great job. I think that car smoking up there is what caused that.
There's Tanner taking a sharp left in the black and yellow machine. And Kirk Shelmerdine down on the apron. Let's show you from our steel aerial platform how that looked. And you'll see it doesn't take a whole lot of contact to send a couple of these cars around, being right on the edge of control as they are.
Right. Almost look like a line dance, doesn't it? They just kind of swing around there and slide down the road.
But who's leading? Oh, that's right. Nobody leads in line dance.
No, nobody leads in line dance.
Jeez. We're under caution here at the Rock. We're just past the halfway point, and we'll be right back. They've just dropped the green flag for the restart. Mark Martin goes right after Chad Little.
Oh, Mark. Oh, he made it. He's down on the inside, side by side. They're coming out turn 2.
Well, Little's got track position, but here comes Martin down on the bottom.
Well, he's got the preferred groove, but I tell you, both lanes right now, outside and inside, are pretty quick.
Yeah, and there's nobody I'd rather be running side by side with than Mark Martin. Clean little racer.
And Martin will just barely lead this lap by an inch or so. Johnny Benson at 74 is right there. So is David Green. Ooh, at Mark's car.
I think what Mark was trying to do then is I can't stay with this guy, so maybe I can aggravate him a little bit here before we get strung out again.
Larry McReynolds, why didn't Mark Martin come in and get tires?
Well, I talked to a lot of the top teams that had taken 4 tires on earlier and asked them why they elected not to pit that time. And even though that most of them could go the distance from their own fuel, there's concern that tire wear will not get them to the end of the race. So I would say if you see a caution up there anytime after about lap 30, you're going to see them all hit pit road and get 4 more fresh tires, those that have them left.
Yes, remember, the tire rule for today is you can only stop twice under caution for a full set of tires. In other words, you have 8 tires, 2 for each corner.
Here comes David
caution.
Green on the inside there, making a move on Johnny Benson Jr. And right behind them, Terry Labonte, one of the best drivers on the slick track that I've ever run against. Other than you, Darrell.
Yeah, I was going to say.
but modesty underwhelmed you.
I was going to bide my time on that one.
Plenty of racing left.
That's plenty of racing left.
And they're back to single file.
But you've been pushed around a lot too, haven't you, Baker?
Oh, yeah. I've seen you kind of drag along on the wall a few times yourself.
Jason Keller makes a pit stop, loses a lap. In the Budget Gourmet number 57. Here's Morgan Shepherd trying to battle up from the back of the pack after getting tires.
Ooh, something happened to David Green. He went straight up the racetrack there. He lost 2 or 3 positions.
Way off the pace.
Yeah, he's got his hand out the window. He's slowing down. He got motor trouble.
That right front, look, it's smoking pretty bad out of the right side there.
Tough break for the outside pole sitter and defending series champion.
He's got 2 problems. He's got to get in the pits. Right now, the car won't turn. I think the right front tire might be flat, but he's got to get across traffic, too, to get in the pit. So he's having to go really slow right now.
Spotter trying to help work him across traffic. Only 2 more cars to clear him. Jeff Fuller, and now he'll be able to get down if the car will turn. The banking will help a little bit.
Darrell, you might be right. That car is rolling awfully well for a car with a flat tire.
Yeah, and he would hustle it up a little bit more if that's all it was. Even though the tire was down, he'd hustle it a little bit more.
So David Green coasts down the pit lane. Randy Pemberton is waiting on him.
Well, they're already pretty dejected down here. They're making notions like it's pretty much over. So, man, the points guys really having a big problem. The car's not running. Bobby Labonte, the car owner, has already taken his headset off. He has made his march back to the Winston Cup garage area. David Green sitting patiently in the car, but it appears their day is done. Hard to believe. A good, solid, smooth run, just like David Green normally has. They fired it back up. You can hear the misfire. Hard to say exactly what it is from here, but I bet they're done for the day.
Slim Jim Chevy has a bad case of indigestion, and David Green is out of the race.
Oh, that's too bad. I mean, last year everything went right. This year nothing's going right for him.
Well, it's early.
Yep.
Only the second race of the season. Jason Keller back on pit road with the hood up. And Morgan Shepherd continues his march toward the front.
If you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, not the next to last race.
That's right.
The second race.
That's right.
Shepherd's up to 8th place in this number 21. Continuing to gain ground. Chad Little's the leader. Mark Martin in second. Johnny Benson is third. Terry Labonte is fourth. Fifth is Tracy Leslie. This battle is from 6th on back. Elton Sawyer, the Ford Credit number 38, is 6th. Jeff Green in number 3. The Goodwrench Chevy is 7th, and Shepherd is 8th. Here's Randy.
David, everything going along smoothly for you, then all of a sudden, boom, what happened?
Well, I guess the crankshaft broke or something like that, but I tell you what, that Monte Carlo was the best of the Monte Carlos today, Chevrolet, but them Fords are awful tough, you know, but short day at Rockingham. Just want to thank the guys, everybody back at the shop. They did a great job all winter getting everything together, and they knew we were there today.
Hey, the 38 car just also blew up. What about these engines here, the 9-to-1s? Is there something to still work on?
Well, I think it's probably a little early. You know, the Winston Cup guys are trying to R&D, and maybe they need a little do more R&D for us, but I don't know, we'll come back at Richmond.
David Green is out, and Elton Sawyer has missed a payment on his Ford Credit Ford.
Yeah, it's too bad. He was running good. He was in the top 10, so
he was in 6th place.
This Chad Little car, he's got a little bit higher line through the corner, but this car is absolutely flying around this racetrack. I don't see anybody catching him right away.
Buddy, the last time one driver won the first 2 races of the Busch Grand National season was 1986. Won Daytona and Rockingham. Who do you think it was? I'll give you a hint. It was a black car.
yeah, it had to be Earnhardt.
You bet.
Oh, trouble, turn 1.
Ooh, and hard into the wall goes John Tanner, the graduate of the IMSA Saab Open Wheel Series.
You see all that dust flying up there. That's very slick for the cars coming at him. I know that guy had to be drawn up.
Yeah, that
Something happened to that car going into 1, and it just shot up to the wall.
I don't want to belabor the point, Mike, but I've been told by the engine builders that these engines at about this distance is when things start to come apart in them, and they haven't been able to. The R&D work does need to be done.
The 9-to-1 engine, or 9.5-to-1 compression engine, is widely used throughout the United States for short track series, but none of those series run races of this length on these size speedways.
You can see there was no contact there. He just got in the corner, looked like had problems, and just backed her right in the wall.
Yeah, it was Stevie Reeves right behind him.
Watch this guy come. There's a car coming here just about.
You watch the dirt off the cars. It's very, very slick on the top part of this racetrack. So when the guy's trying to miss you, he's trying to hold control of the car, too, as he goes by.
There he goes.
Curtis Markham, second close move of the day. I think that was Markham in 63. And Mike McLaughlin in number 34. On the top of your screen, Chad Little. In the middle is Mark Martin, and on the bottom is Johnny Benson. The first 3 cars making their stops.
Not a chance anybody wasn't going to stop. I think they had the stopwatch on Morgan Shepherd coming up through there, and they said, man, we're giving up a lot of track time. So he was flying up through the crowd.
Now, this is the last opportunity they'll have to get tires under caution. Oops, dodge them.
You know,
let's check with Glenn.
Oh, guys, what a great pit stop Chad Little's crew did that time. They beat Mark Martin out by 2 or 3 seconds. Changed 4 tires, fuel again, no chassis adjustment. This was the window that they're looking for. They're on lap 121 now. It's 197, about 75 laps. That's what they wanted. Let's go to Larry.
Down here in the Mark Martin's pits, no chassis adjustments on the Winn-Dixie Ford, which indicates that Mark must be pretty happy with the car, considering that was probably his last stop. But I'm going to tell you, the Chad Little group, they really had an awesome pit stop, considering that's just full-time Busch Grand National boys.
Thanks, Larry. We are under caution here at the North Carolina Motor Speedway for the 5th time today. We'll be right back.
Moen Faucets. Moen. Buy it for looks. Buy it for life.
Looks like we're about a lap or so away from the restart tomorrow from the Rock live at noon. We'll show you how TNN prepares for our first Winston Cup telecast of the season and bring you all the action of the Goodwrench 500 live tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern Time. Be sure to join us here on the Nashville Network. Behind the pace car, they're a lap or so away from a restart here. John Tanner is okay after that bout with the wall in turn 1 that spoiled his Busch Grand National debut.
You know, we're sitting here talking about Morgan only getting 2 tires a little earlier. Now, he should be the only guy, and they might be able to check in the pit, Larry or somebody, he should be the only guy with 2 tires left.
That's quite possible, so he could stop and get left side tires if we have another caution.
Yeah.
Looking at Johnny Benson's Lipton Teapot. Let's go to his pit.
Yeah, not the case for these guys. They've used their last set, and they took 1 round of wedge out of the Johnny Benson machine. I talked to Steve Bird. There was no question about it. It was time. They had to put their 4 tires on. They said their times have been good. They didn't drop off all that much, but like I said, 1 round of wedge out. They had a little trouble on the left front. It looked like he might have been able to get out first, but he just got beaten out by Jeff Green. So it's still a good pit stop, even though they had a little trouble on the left front. But 1 round of wedge out for these guys. Larry?
I'm in Morgan Shepherd's pits and talked to him about still having 2 left side tires left that they could change under caution. And the way they feel that the car's been handling, that they have no intentions, unless it does go away, on putting those left side tires on. They're pretty happy with the situation they've got.
Look from our aerial platform. Steel outdoor equipment. A full line of powerful, easy to use, and durable outdoor equipment. Bringing you these pictures of the North Carolina Motor Speedway.
Boy, I want to brag on somebody. Look in second place right now. David Bonnet has worked his way all the way up to second place. He's run a very, very good race all day. Chad Little's in third, Mark Martin's in fourth, and David Green's in fifth.
Well, David's dad will be proud.
Yep.
Let's get ready for this restart. Morgan Shepherd. The cars on the lead lap are down on the inside lane. And Green is out. That V8 rumble is the new sound of the Busch Series as we take the green at lap 127.
You know, I really like the idea of starting the lead cars on the inside on restarts, too. I'm going to tell you, when you're on the outside and you're trying to get that preferred line, wow, look at Chad Little come up on second place right now.
And up.
And up. Here comes Mark Martin on the inside, giving Chad Little a challenge.
Mark may take his time to make a move. If he's got anything left, I think he'll use it right now.
Somebody better tell Chad Little of his intentions. Well, that car is strong up off the corner. Look at it come up out of this corner and pull about a full car length down the straightaway on Mark Martin.
Well, we saw this on the last restart. Mark was able to hang close for a lap or two, and then Chad just drove off.
And even when Chad was up on the outside, Mark is hanging tough on the bottom. They're dead even this time by.
Well, you made a point just a second ago. If you're going to have somebody on that left for a quarter pound, you'd rather have Mark Martin there than about anybody I can think of, because he has tremendous car control and he won't just jam into you this early in the race.
Well, I think he just wants to let Chad know that if there was 10 to go or a caution with 10 to go, I will race you.
No doubt of that. Here's Glenn.
Well, guys, while the battle was going on between Mark and Chad there, you saw David Bonnet fell back to fourth. The tire, he put on 4 tires on the last caution around lap 100. So his tires had 20 laps more of racing on them. I don't think David really expected to stay there with them. But you're right, he is doing an outstanding job, and we're all proud of him, as Neil would be.
Second-generation driver, driving for Hank Parker in a team that was purchased from Darrell Waltrip.
And just behind Bonnet there is Johnny Benson Jr. And Jeff Green is now getting into the fight. He's been on a steady move, and he's moving up toward the front as we speak. His car is getting better as they go.
That's the younger of the brothers from Owensboro, Kentucky. The other set of brothers from Owensboro in that number 3 car. What is it? Is it the water there, Darrell? The Waltrips, the Greens? No, what is it?
It's and Jeremy Mayfield, he's from there too.
Yes.
It's the Ohio River. Yeah, we get our water right out of that river, and I don't know where it comes from when we get it, but it must do something.
I got a theory. Alabama, Tennessee, both. When you're born, instead of getting a teether, you get a steering wheel to chew on.
That's a good chance.
Well, none of the drivers up front hailed from there, so.
That's right.
Morgan Shepherd from Newton Conover, North Carolina. Chad Little from the state of Washington. Mark Martin from Arkansas. Maybe they had bottled water shipped in. Who knows? Now Jeff Green, Terry lost a spot to Terry Labonte here, number 14, Labonte. Moving past Jeff Green. And at the front.
Boy, Chad makes that look so easy. That car is flying into the corner. I'll tell you, he's good all the way around the racetrack. I've been looking for something we could kind of pick on. I hadn't seen him.
No, it's handling perfectly, and it's running flawlessly.
He was so fast, he was so in front of Mark Martin that Morgan had time to slip into second place without Mark being able to get past him.
I've been worried the whole race that he was driving it too hard and not saving anything, but I don't guess it just doesn't seem like he has to. Or maybe he is. Maybe he is saving something. We don't know it yet.
Looks kind of like Sterling Marlin's car last Sunday at Daytona. Just put it in the wind and go.
Yep.
Anything significant, Darrell, about 3 Fords at the front of the field? How about 4 Fords?
I don't hear Rusty anywhere. Do you?
Glenn?
It's a quiet day in the Winston Cup garage.
Yeah.
Guys, you're talking about how fast Chad is. I talked with Bobby Leslie. He's the crew chief on Mark Martin's car. He says, hey, the race is for second place, and we don't think we got anything for him. He's a good 2/10 quicker than we are each lap. They feel like they're running for second place. They said that Chad had been that way ever since he unloaded off the trailer. They didn't have anything left for him.
Chad Little has been the class of the field much of the day here at Rockingham. 136 laps complete. We'll be right back. Little leads immediately following today's live broadcast. NHRA Today brings you exciting up-to-date drag racing action right here on TNN, scheduled for 3:30 Eastern Time right after today's race. Mark Martin now in the Winn-Dixie number 60 chasing Morgan Shepherd.
Yeah, you know, they've had a real good race going here for quite some time now, and Morgan has just, you know, got Mark right where he wants him, along beside of him.
Yeah, I was thinking to say Mark's making a strong bid right down on the inside. I'd say Morgan will just let him go right on by.
Remember, Shepherd has worn left side tires, or rather they got 4, but they still have 2 left side tires to get under caution without penalty. All of these cars got 4 tires last time in.
I don't know that that'd be a big advantage. It would depend on how many cars are in the lead lap and how far up through the field you could come on the restart, I guess.
Morgan won here in the closest Busch Series finish in 1987. He beat Jeff Bodine off turn 4 of the last lap by 10 inches.
Yeah, Morgan, I remember that race. Morgan ran right up against the wall. I mean, he got to running high, and the longer he ran, the faster he got, and he chased Bodine down and passed him.
Yeah, you know what, not having, oh man, 3 deep going in the corner, somebody's got to give.
That was Phil Parsons in 99 inside. Joe Bessie, the Scarborough Main driver, up top in the 97. The car with the red hood is Derek Cope, number 82.
That was kind of ugly.
Could have been.
Terry Labonte making the pass on Joe Bessie there on the inside.
This
Third
battle,
car in the pace.
and all these cars are racing for 6th place. They're all on the lead lap. Now they've settled single file for the moment. Tracy Leslie up in there as well, the Detroit gasket car. Let's show you that one again. It kind of took our breath.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where all of a sudden you look to your left and you look to your right and you say, uh-oh, wonder who's going to let up.
Now that's Joe Bessie up top.
Well, right here, you see Phil Parsons in the 99 car getting 3 deep going in the corner. He thought better of it just about here.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Phil says, I remember doing this at Darlington one time, and I didn't make it. I think I'll check up.
They go right back at it, though. Well, they're underneath the lap car of Doug Heveron. Pretty good battle there for 6th place. I'll show you how they're running here at 147 laps, 50 to go.
We still got a lot of race left here, folks.
Yes.
I mean, 50 laps. Good ways to go yet.
This pack is 10 seconds behind leader Chad Little. I wish Chad do a little racing.
He's racy, all right, but he's in a class by himself.
Well, Terry Labonte says, I know this is televised. I'm going to make this exciting, I think.
Let's go back to this next battle. Tracy Leslie in 72, Joe Bessie in 97, and here comes Jeff Green back into it in the number 3 car. This is 9th, 10th, and 11th place.
I believe the interesting part of this race is going to be if we get a caution late and nobody has tires. That's usually when things really tighten up.
That 16 car on the inside there, that's A.J. Foyt's son in his first Busch race ever. And I imagine right now he's saying, I didn't know my head would weigh this much at the end of 150 laps.
I think you're right. I wonder, Darrell, if we got that caution, if anybody would come down pit road as they took the green for tires, because you don't get penalized taking tires under green.
No, yeah, but you'd lose a lap. See, that's the only thing.
Even on the restart?
Yeah, on a 1-mile racetrack, you just can't get in and out of the pit with a pit road speed and not lose a lap.
That's right.
See, I think, Mike, there ought not be a pit road speed under green.
I agree with you.
Because it's just like, I'm not picking on Dale or anything, but when Dale Earnhardt's at the end of pit road down there and he's got and you got a pit road speed and you come in under green, he's about the only guy that can make it in and out and not lose a lap.
Right. Derek Cope up on the high side this time. And Phil Parsons in the Luxair 99. The Bill Papke car going past underneath, and here comes Terry Labonte.
Yeah, Labonte just got in that preferred line there, and they caught him on the outside, and they go right by.
Well, Terry gets a little better as he goes. His car gets better and better. I don't know that he gets that much better, but I think everybody else backs up a little bit.
You know, the longer they run under green, it seems the better Labonte gets.
Yeah, it does.
Well, as far as the man who kind of controls the destiny of this race, it might be Morgan Shepherd, who still has 2 tires to put on that car under caution. Let's go to Shepherd's pit. Here's Larry McReynolds.
Okay, I'm here in the Morgan Shepherd pits with crew chief Dick Schultz. Dick, you got a few more laps on your tires than some of the other competitors. You got about 40 laps to go, but you do have 2 left sides left. You got any strategy there?
Well, the car's kind of holding its time as it has all day, so I don't know. We'll just have to kind of see how everything's going to work out, but the car's about where it's going to run is where it's at right now.
If we get a caution, you think you take those left sides that you have left back on?
Well, it depends upon how many cars are on the lead lap. I believe there's 13 cars on the lead lap right now, so if it plays out that we can do us some good, we'll probably do it.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
Dick Schultz, an old dirt tracker from Iowa, drove late models for years there, and he's now running the Morgan Shepherd pit. We'll see how this strategy plays out when we come back. 154 laps complete at Rockingham. Speedway, as you ride along with Mark Martin in second place, trying to chase down Chad Little. Tomorrow, the Goodwrench 500, you'll see that live on TNN. And today at 4 o'clock, you'll get all the up-to-date news inside Winston Cup Racing, hosted by Ned Jarrett, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Well, Mike, that camera's getting eye strained trying to find out where the 23 went in Mark Martin's car, I can tell you that.
I think you're right. Here's the race for 7th place, buddy. Mike Wallace, the Heilig Myers Furniture Duron Paints number 90. And the Health South number 82, Derek Cope, 7th place.
You know, Darrell, it looks like Wallace may be strong for about 8 or 10 laps, and then his tires start giving up. He's lost quite a few positions in just the last few laps here.
Yeah, you know, tires will do wonders to a car that's not handling real well. It doesn't mean it's not handling good. It's not handling real well. They go away, and the car goes away.
And they closed down on Phil Parsons in number 99, the 6th place car. Terry Labonte's moved up into 5th behind Johnny Benson. So this race is for 6th place.
See,
I saw Phil's crew chief David Ift last night at dinner. He was having dinner with historian Bob Latford, and not once did he try to take the steak off of Latford's plate. Can you believe it?
I might say that, you know, there's not but a couple of Monte Carlos in the race today. The pole car was a Monte Carlo. The 74 car is a Monte Carlo. The rest of these cars are luminous, so if the Monte Carlo was as good as or better than the Ford, there's not enough of them out there to really get a good handle on that today in the Busch Series.
Too soon in the season to tell.
I was just fixing to say, in the Busch race last week at Daytona, Ford won, so the Monte Carlo didn't dominate Speedway as a lot of people would like to think.
Yeah, I think the thing that I had said down there is we were so much happier with the Monte Carlo than we were the Lumina. Yeah. The Chevrolet teams were. That doesn't mean that it's going to fix all of our problems. We got work to do, and we know it. But it's a great car, and it's equal to the challenge.
We're getting down to the closing stages, and we had some concerns about the 9-to-1 G8s and how they would fare here over the 200-mile distance. Larry?
Well, you know, we have had a lot of engine attrition here today with the 9-to-1s, and even though they run Daytona Beach last week with the 9-to-1 engine, this is the first real test for them. At Daytona last week, you know, they would turn the motors 68, 6900. We're here today, I'm sure they're turning them as tight as 82, 83, maybe even 8400. So I think this is the first real test for these 9-to-1s.
I think one of the things they found at Daytona was the 9-to-1, the lower compression engine runs a much higher exhaust gas temperature, and several drivers climbed out of their cars complaining of burned feet after the Busch race at Daytona.
Yeah, if you were here and you could hear these cars when they go into corner, a lot of times they'll backfire right out the tailpipe, and that's raw fuel being collected in the pipes and backfire. And then we got David Bonnet all the way up against the wall here.
He gets away from it. He has gone a lap down.
I think Hank Parker just reeled him in. Oh, he's up there again.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the car because he's right up against the wall. I think he may have a cut tire this time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Tough break for David Bonnet. Also, you saw the 43 of Rodney Combs going a lap down. And that's the World Championship wrestling car and fitting of Combs. Fittingly, Bob Johnson is the crew chief.
Wow.
There's something that fits there.
You have to tell the whole story. Don't start it.
Bob can be a pretty boisterous crew chief team manager.
Yes, he can.
In his early days, as David Bonnet comes in, he owned a car at Stafford Motor Speedway. Ron Bouchard was the driver, and Bob got thrown out for a couple of weeks. He had to stand outside the fence and tell him what to do on the car. Here's Larry McReynolds.
Okay, I'm down here in the David Bonnet pits. They're going to the right side, looking at the left side tires. Don't look like there's any intentions on changing the lefts. 2 rights with no chassis adjustments.
18.7-second stop. for David Bonnet.
You know, I did some testing down here a couple of weeks ago, and I could not believe the side force you get in the corners here. I'm going to tell you, a lot of people will get tired in these races this weekend.
Yeah, it's the first really test. You know, it's short track racing really at high speed, so it does work on you.
Well, let's see how big the smiles are in the leader's pits right now, Glenn.
Well, Mike, this big guy sitting here usually gets more cheers than he gives, but today he's been Chad Little's biggest cheerleader. Of course, this is Mark Ripien, Super Bowl MVP and one of the co-owners of the car. Mark, you guys are off to a really impressive start.
Glenn, this is amazing the way the team has put this car together. I don't know if it's a race car or a rocket ship out there. It's really going. I tell you, Harris Teeter's been good to us, and it's nice to see a Ford out there in front.
I've seen nothing but smiles so far, but is it tough for you sitting on the sidelines here or tougher in the NFL?
Well, it's tough last year in the NFL sitting on the sidelines, too. This is great to be out here and get a chance to watch Chad do what he does best. Hopefully this year I get a chance to get out there and do what I do best.
Well, we hope that's the case. Mark Ripien, a very, very happy car owner.
So far, so good. Kind of like being in the third quarter with a 3-touchdown lead.
Yeah, and I like the way he says he knows about those Fords versus those Chevrolets too, doesn't he? Cowboys and Indians.
Yes. This race is for 7. Mike Wallace in number 90.
Ooh.
Trying to hold off Derek Cope and Jeff Green.
Jeff Green come within an ace of spinning out, getting in the corner there. That car's extremely loose.
Yeah.
And Johnny Benson and Terry Labonte are battling for 4th.
Boy, Terry got that nose down under Benson going into 3 over there, and I didn't know if Benson knew he was there or not.
Stevie Reeves makes a pit stop in the Ed Whitaker Clabber Girl car, and here's Labonte looking for racing room. Curtis Markham is the lapped car, 63.
Now, there's a true professional. He could see there wasn't room to make that move on the outside there. He took his car back right out of that hole. He'll make the pass later on, but he didn't force something that couldn't happen.
Oh, you mean like now?
Whoa, Terry. I don't know. I don't think Terry Labonte's driving that car.
And who would be your choice?
I don't know. But I do notice one thing. Terry's in a Monte Carlo as well. We didn't mention that he was in a Monte Carlo. So there's 2 Monte Carlos racing each other.
Well, Darrell, you said something real important. We're down to 25 miles to go here. It's time for everybody to really get with it here.
Yeah, it is. It's turning up the pressure time.
We have 2 Thunderbirds, or 3 Thunderbirds, leading 2 Monte Carlos, then a Lumina, then 2 Fords, then another Chevrolet. So parity for the moment. Let's take a break, and we'll come back and sort this out with 20 laps to go at the Rock. Chad Little continues to lead. A look at Chad Little, who leads this race handily with less than 20 laps to go. Now, Chevrolet has won nearly 3 times as many races as Ford since Busch started sponsoring this series in 1982. Most wins by Ford in season 9 2 years ago. Last week at Daytona, the Monte Carlos did anything but dominate. A Ford won and led most of the laps. So Chad Little has been the man today, and here you see him from our Steel Outdoor Power Equipment aerial platform.
The Monte Carlo in the Busch series is a little different than the one that not the body itself, but the way they put the templates on the cars a little different in Busch than it is Winston Cup. Plus, you got a 105-inch wheelbase car versus 110.
There's 2 of them battling for 4th place. Terry Labonte finally got past Johnny Benson. Labonte, number 14.
I want to tell you something. Chad Little, I don't know. He's driving like he's going to a fire. He's just in a hurry. He has not lit up on that car all day long.
It's been amazing. We've watched him go through places that, I mean, if you're making up time, you do things like that. But if you're leading with the ease that he is today, he's really driving that car very, very hard for a dominant car.
Me and Buddy wore each other out, poking each other.
Yeah.
Every time he does it.
Watch him in this lap traffic, because he does not ease the car.
He doesn't wait on anybody.
No.
He just zoom, away he goes.
Cut and go.
That's it.
There he is. Inside, outside, doesn't matter. He is flying. Well, coming out and winning the first race of the season had to be a big thrill for Chad Little and for his race team.
I guess it's all over now, though, and you know, can't ever take it away from us. I mean, that's our first win, and it was very sweet. But now we got to focus on Rockingham and then Richmond, and you know, it's just one race of 27, and the big picture is the championship for us. So we just kind of have to put that behind us now and move on.
Moving on pretty smartly.
He has got her in a hurry, I'm going to tell you.
Speaking of smartly, you know he's a lawyer. he could be a practicing lawyer if he wanted to. He went to college, played football. You talk about a strong young man there. I'm telling you, he don't waste any time.
I don't know. He just filed a writ of habeas corpus on that lap car and cut to the bottom.
Oh, I mean, for a guy that's he's a straightaway ahead. He's entertaining us. I can say that. This is not a boring win.
No. No. How big a lead does he have now? Second place is Mark Martin. Third is Morgan Shepherd, both in Fords. Fourth now is Terry Labonte. Fifth is Johnny Benson. Sixth is Phil Parsons. Seventh is Mike Wallace. Eighth is Derek Cope. Ninth is Jeff Green. And 10th is Joe Bessie. That's all that's left on the lead lap. 6.6 seconds is Chad Little's lead.
Yeah, he's got close to a half-lap lead.
10 laps to go. There's the stripe. Here's the watch.
He's kind of like maybe Rippon's telling him to run to daylight.
I'm going to hold at 6.6 seconds. That was not the second place car. That was the 50 of Jeremy Mayfield.
Yeah, he's almost a half a lap ahead.
Mike, you know, Chad Little made a big name for himself on the West Coast, but never really got showcased till he come over here. And he spent some pretty bad years trying to make it in Winston Cup. Went back to the Busch racing and really made a name for himself in this now.
Here's Mark Martin. Now it's up to 7.4.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not giving up anything. As Darrell said, he's driving like it's a white flag lap every lap.
And Mark's car has been the best car here for several years.
Yeah, this is incredible.
There's Stevie Reeves in the 7 getting overlapped. Let's check with Glenn.
Well, guys, you heard Chad Little talk about how he was concentrating on that championship. And one thing he wants to do, since NASCAR has gone to the Touring Series, the Busch Grand National Series, in 1982, a Ford has not won that championship. He wants to be the first guy to do that in a Ford automobile. He's well on his way. Larry McReynolds?
I'm going to tell you, there's something about winning at Daytona that just nothing can stop your momentum. We won the 500 there in 1992 with Davey, and it seemed like when we left there for the next 10 races, we almost couldn't do anything wrong, and there's just something about winning at Daytona that does that to you.
Chad Little had never won a Busch Grand National race before the Goodies 300. First driver to come from a provisional spot and win. Here are the past winners of this race in second, third, and fourth. Mark Martin, Morgan Shepherd, Terry Labonte have all been to victory lane here in previous years. Now Little, it's way too early to talk about points, one race complete, but Chad Little comes in here 30 points ahead of the next Busch Grand National regular. Jim Bound finished 6th last week. Third place, give it to Terry Labonte, who slides under Morgan Shepherd there.
Well, they all better be glad Terry don't run all the races.
Yes.
I got a feeling he'd be hard to beat.
We're reminded Tommy Houston did take a provisional starting position and win on this series, that Chad Little was not the first to do it. And now he's in traffic. He's going to put a lap on 9th place, Joe Bessie. You saw him lap 10th place, Jeff Green in the 3 car a bit ago. There are now just 8 cars on the lead lap. But he is entertaining. Look.
Oh, yeah.
Watch this. He'll probably cut right down and pass him on the inside.
Wow.
I had him always. He's going by right there. Well, I tell you what, that car is really hooked up. I think if he changed his rhythm, he might wreck.
I think that's it. I think he's got it going, and he's just going to keep it going.
Well, if it feels good, and it feels like he's not abusing the car, if it feels that way to him.
Well, I don't know how it feels to him, but he's abusing that car. I'm here to tell you that.
Here's Johnny Benson and Phil Parsons battling with Tracy Leslie.
You know, we got a big mess right here going down the back straightaway.
Now Leslie is now a lap down. Phil Parsons is on the lead lap in 6th place. And there's Derek Cope getting held up a bit by the lapped cars. Cope is 7th in number 82.
I just want this thing to hurry up, man. My heart's pounding out of my chest for that 23 car. I just wanted to hurry up and get over with.
3 laps, and it will be. Mark Martin now some 8 seconds back. Terry Labonte trying to pull down on Martin as the laps run out here. Let's check with Randy.
I'll tell you, talk about exuberance. These guys are showing it down here, but very rarely do you see a team start celebrating with 10 laps to go. And they started with about 10 laps to go, and it's just increased and increased and increased. And you thought the checker flag fell already, but it's just about has, I guess.
They were probably celebrating at breakfast. Chad Little is half a lap away for piling up back-to-back wins. If he comes around this time, he'll lead 177 laps today.
He could wreck now and win. I tell you, he's got a tremendous lead. Congratulations to Chad Little.
That's great. It's one of the fittest jobs I've seen here in a long time.
Now the Harris Teeter Bayer Aspirin Racing Electronics Ford will go to victory lane. Chad Little has led all but 20 laps today, and he wins by 10 seconds over Mark Martin. Terry Labonte is third. Johnny Benson is fourth. Morgan Shepherd fifth. Sixth to Phil Parsons. Seventh, Derek Cove. Eighth to Mike Wallace, all on the lead lap. Ninth to Joe Bessie, and 10th to Jeff Green. Here's Randy.
Gary Coxwell won another one. Wow, you guys are hot. What's the deal?
I don't know. You know, everybody on the teams worked so hard over the winter, and I kept promising everybody that we were going to win a race this year, and now we've got two. I'll tell you, last week, you know, there were some hints that maybe we were just lucky. We showed them this wasn't luck. I'm so proud of these guys, I can't stand it.
Now, my question is, you have a car that you run at Daytona. This is obviously not the same car. Then you're going to Richmond in another week. What do you bring there, another car?
Yeah, we're going to bring a brand new car up there. You know, we thought we needed maybe a little bit better short track car than we've had in the past. We built a brand new car. We went up and tested it on Tuesday, had a very good test, taking a new car with a new motor.
Boy, that would be something to win 3 in a row with 3 different cars. Congratulations on another fine win. Larry McReynolds?
I'm going to tell you, I've had a really good time today and really looking forward to doing some more races with you guys. This is definitely looking at it through a different set of eyes, and I'm used to looking at it, and I'm excited about doing it.
Well, Larry, thanks for lending your expertise, and good luck tomorrow. Darrell, pretty impressive run by Chad Little.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't care if I had a new car and a new motor. I'd run that car right there next week. Because I like that car. That thing is fast, and Chad just, what a great job, and, you know, what a bunch of momentum they got going for him to start the year with.
We'll let you head off for Winston Cup practice for tomorrow's Goodwrench 500. Thanks for joining us.
Well, I hope my car will run something like that anyway.
Anyway. Thanks, Darrell.
See you,
thank you, Larry. We'll go to victory lane when we come back to the North Carolina Motor Speedway. Greet Chad Little. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the North Carolina Motor Speedway. Let's go to victory lane, Glenn Jarrett.
And a very happy Chad Little. Who wouldn't be? Chad, first thing we want to do at TNN is to thank you from the bottom of our heart for killing our show today, man.
Well, you know, I hate to do that, but I just don't know what to say. I mean, 2 in a row. I mean, God bless this team, and I'm so happy. I mean, I'm just at a loss for words. I mean, I've been back here for quite a while, and to win 2 races in a row just blows me away too. But you know, I'm so proud of our team. They work so hard, and you know, we won for Barrett, Daytona, now we won for Harris Teeter here, and I'm just really happy right now.
Well, you told me at the beginning of the race you wanted to get your first win for Harris Teeter. It confused me. Of course, you have different sponsors for different races, but you know, it's not too surprising to us because we tracked you the last half of last year. Last 12 races, you had 11 top 10 finishes. You were the leading points maker in the last half of last season. So to see you come out this strong, it hadn't surprised us.
Well, I appreciate it. This car right here was, I mean, I should kiss this car. It was so good all day long. It was just, I couldn't believe it. It was, you just don't get race cars like this.
Well, we were watching you in traffic. You were very aggressive all day. Seems like you never lifted. At times we thought you might be maybe running the car too hard, but was it just a rhythm that you were in?
Yeah, I got into a good rhythm there at the start of the race, and I hated to see that second caution, but, you know, it's just, we came in and put on 4 tires, and the pit stops went well both times, and then, the car just worked flawlessly. Motor ran great all day long, and it's just a good day.
Well, I hear you got a new car for Richmond. I would have to look at this car.
Well, this is our intermediate track car, so it doesn't go to those small places where, you know, more than likely when we get done with Richmond, there won't be a straight panel on the car, so we'll just have to wait and see.
All right, we're going to go let them celebrate. They got a big paycheck. They can buy a lot of groceries at Harris Teeter.
Chad Little, prior to this season, had never been to victory lane in the Busch Grand National Series, and now comes out of the box smoking 2 for 2.
Well, Mike, he said there wouldn't be a straight panel on that car. They got to catch him before they can bend something on it.
That's true, too. Happy hour practice is coming up here for the Winston Cup cars. We call it that because it's the final practice session. They get 1 hour to dial things in for 500 miles tomorrow, and we'll show you some of the new colors, new paint jobs, new teams, new alliances for 1995. So you'll be ready for tomorrow's telecast of the Goodwrench 500. Randy and Glenn will be talking to drivers down in the garage area, and we'll get a look at the changing face of Winston Cup racing. First, here's a rundown from today's Goodwrench 200. Chad Little, the winner. Mark Martin, 2 Fords in the front 2. 2 Monte Carlos, Terry Labonte and Johnny Benson. Morgan Shepherd's T-Bird in 5th. Phil Parsons in 6th. Derek Cope and Mike Wallace were all on the lead lap. 1 lap down, Joe Bessie, Jeff Green in 10th, and the 43 of Rodney Combs were all 1 lap down. 2 laps back, Tracy Leslie. 3 laps down, Mike McLaughlin. Down 4 laps, Patty Moise, Jeremy Mayfield. Then you see Shauna Robinson and David Bonnet. And 5 or more laps back, Kevin LePage. Rookie Curtis Markham is the highest rookie in this race, if you don't count Mayfield, who's not running for Rookie of the Year. And then Stevie Reeves. 21st, Jeff Bound, Doug Hevron, Larry Pearson, Kirk Shelmerdine, and Jerry Foyt. Dirk Stevens, Dale Williams, Tommy Houston. And then out of the race, Jason Keller, Jeff Fuller, John Tanner, Elton Sawyer, David Green, Tim Fedewa, Stanton Barrett, 35th. Dennis Setzer, Kevin Simmons, Robbie Reiser, Bobby Dotter, Hermie Sadler, Bobby Hillen, and rookie L.W. Miller. That's the way they wound up in the Goodwrench 200 today here at the North Carolina Motor Speedway, with the Goodwrench 500 for the Winston Cup cars coming up.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Goodwrench 200 on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
A look at the North Carolina Motor Speedway as we get set for Winston Cup practice. This 1 mile facility. See that highway up to the upper right as you look from the steel area camera? That's State Route 177, just renamed Frank Wilson Boulevard in memory of the former track president, Frank Wilson, who really did a lot of expansion here at the North Carolina Motor Speedway in terms of seating and marketing and amenities for both the drivers and the crews and the fans. And it's a very fitting tribute to a man who gave a lot to this sport and to this county. Let's get down to the garage area. Here's Randy.
Well, Johnny Benson, nice smile on your face, deservedly so. Wow. Glad to get through the second one. You ran very, very well all day. Didn't appear that anybody had anything for Chad, but nonetheless, good, strong third-place finish.
Yeah, I tell you what, Chad's fast, and like I say, Lipton T Chevrolet ran great. We're pretty good, and I think we could have held off Terry there, except for that lap car there. But no, the car was good. Base Motorsports did a great job, and the whole crew just super. You know, like I say, we're happy we finished 4th, and got through here without a scratch.
When you finish 4th like that, and you're running around, and you see somebody that's so strong like Chad was today, Mark was. When you're in the car, does it give you an opportunity to think what possibly you could do to make this car better? Do you think in those terms, or do you just constantly run lap times, laps?
No, you constantly think that. Even when you're leading a race, you constantly think that. So, like I say, our car was pretty good. It's just some other guys were going. Like I said, we were doing everything we could, but like I say, we're pretty happy we came out of here in 4th place.
What about next week? You head to Richmond as well. That's a flat track. Chad, of course, and you guys, you bring one car to Daytona, another car here. Will it be a different car altogether when you head to Richmond?
Yeah, it sure is. 3 races, 3 cars, but we've got 6 cars sitting there, and Steve Bird and the whole crew is just doing a super job there in the shop, and we're pretty prepared this year. So hopefully, we keep running good. V8s are running super. K-Tech built us a great V8 for today, and we're looking forward to running the season.
One other quick question. The tires were a harder compound today. Gave you guys an opportunity to actually drive the car, not be concerned about them blowing out. Did that give you a better feeling in the car?
Oh, it sure did. Goodyear makes an excellent tire. And, they had great tires last year. It's just now, I think it's going to be a little bit more, practical for everybody to keep staying out on track. But, it's going to start throwing in some of them strategy now. It's like, do we pit or don't we pit? And, so that's tough for the leader. But like I say, we had a good day today, and we're happy to be out of here in 4th place and no scratches.
Another good finish for the 1994 Rookie of the Year. Glenn Jarrett?
Well, Mark Martin has wasted no timing switching from the Winn-Dixie Ford to the Valvoline Ford. Mark, you had an awfully strong car, but man, Chad Little was something today.
Yeah, that Winn-Dixie team did a great job on pit road and with the race car. The car was super, and, everything was just perfect. I just couldn't keep up with Chad.
Well, from what your crew chief, Bobby Leslie, said, it's pretty much that way all week, that this was a car that you have won here with before. You've always run well here at Rockingham, but just wasn't anything you could do.
It ran real good today, just as good as it has in the past. It just wasn't good enough today.
What about the Winston Cup car? What does it look like for tomorrow?
I don't know. It looks good to me.
Mark Martin always looks good when he's in a race car. That's where he likes to be most. We're going to let him go get to it.
Thanks, Glenn. Average speed of today's race, 120.8 miles an hour. That's a new 200-mile record here. Chad Little led all but 20 laps, buddy. Busted the track record And Mark Martin used to be uncatchable here, and he said his car ran just like it always did.
Well, Chad Little found something. When they made the transfer from the V6 to the 9-to-1 compression motors, he's hit on something that's really working, and he's making it work for him.
What do you think it'll do for the drivers in the Busch Series as the technology in their series gets closer and closer to what we see in Winston Cup?
Well, the biggest thing is what you said a while ago. Of course, there's more engine heat, and it's also, we're not even into the summertime when people have to worry about burning their feet and stuff. So when you turn them all these RPMs and you have this excess heat in the car, it's going to be a factor later on in the year.
Well, let's find out from a fellow who's won here before and who's poised for a run tomorrow. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I'm standing, of course, beside of Dale Earnhardt. Where hasn't Dale Earnhardt won? I mean, he's won everywhere. Dale, you didn't qualify quite as far up this week, but how's the car look for tomorrow?
Well, the cars are working really good. We didn't qualify well last October here, but we won the race. So it's a long 500 miles right here at Rockingham. So if the car comfortable, we'll be okay, and I think we'll be okay.
You seem to have a real knack for getting around this place real well. You always have good success here. Is there anything in particular that makes it that way?
Well, it's a tough old racetrack. It's a little bit aggressive, but you gotta be a little bit smooth and consistent. The biggest thing is just stay out of trouble. There's a lot of trouble here.
Is staying out of trouble a little tougher when you start a little deeper in the pack?
Well, it is, but as things get strung out, everybody gets to be pretty consistent. So there's a lot of good race cars and drivers out here, so I'm not too uncomfortable running around them.
And they certainly aren't uncomfortable running around him. Dale Earnhardt waiting to do the last shakedown. These guys are going to have some fun tomorrow. I can't wait for it.
Well, he'll start 23rd. And, Buddy, the drivers who did not make the show in first-round qualifying included last week's winner, Sterling Marlin, Earnhardt, Bill Elliott, Dale Jarrett, Kyle Petty, Jimmy Spencer, Terry Labonte. None of these fellows made the top 20.
Well, that'd be a great race, just those guys, not counting the guys that beat them in qualifying, but that's where racing's at right now. You have a day that you're not exactly perfect, you can end up out of the top 20 real easily.
That's what happened. Jeff Gordon, of course, will sit on the pole for tomorrow's race. We'll run down the starting order for you in a bit, but it'll be Chevy and Ford once again battling as they did today, with Gordon and Ricky Rudd on the front row. Tomorrow, the Goodwrench 500 hits air at noon Eastern Time. Be sure to be with us. We're going to show you some Winston Cup practice and some of these new colors, numbers, drivers, crew chief, and owner changes when we come back. Stay with us. Pulling out for Winston Cup practice. There's Kenny Schrader's Bud Wagon. And let's go talk to a couple more drivers from today's Goodwrench 200. Here's Randy.
Well, we always talk to the guys that finished first. Of course, he goes to victory lane. Second and third, we try to get every interview we can on TNN here. But let's just get an idea of Rodney Combs, for instance. He struggles here today, finishes 11th, but nonetheless, you get out of here, Rodney, with a decent finish, and I guess that serves your objective.
Hey, Randy, it really does. You know, after we went to qualify there and we lost that cylinder coming off of 4 for the green, we didn't get this car running until we started the race today, so we really don't know what we fixed. We changed the battery, we changed the ignition, we changed everything. All I know, it run good, thanks to my motorman Ron Neal, WCW, World Championship Wrestling, Tracy Lawrence. Hey, man, this thing we're gaining. Bob Johnson, my crew chief. I just got to thank Rick Bailey again from CMG for putting this sponsor together. He's worked hard for this, and I tell you what, without him, I wouldn't be here. And the King Richard Petty Goodyear Pontiac, you know, I want to say hi to my wife and my grandson Colby and Chance at home, you know, and, you know, this is just great. We finished 11th, almost in the lead lap. We didn't get to practice much because the car quit running, so we was tight all day, but Bob kept adjusting, but it was a clean race, and we was getting it better. We was better on old tires and new tires and had a couple trouble with lap cars, but I tell you what, this is great. We're going to be finished on this lead lap. We're going to get us a win, and we're going to have some more top 10s, and hopefully you'll be interviewing me over where the black and white checks are.
I hear that. You know, you've changed the colors on this car. You got Richard Petty colors on that car this year. Any added pressure? I mean, the car looks just like the one the King drove.
Well, hopefully he was pacing today, because we had him pacing the Daytona leading that thing and had a shot go bad, but, you know, we thought we was going to be in that big shootout at the end of that deal. But, you know, we'll take this today because I didn't get to run this track at the end of last year when it was paved because I broke my shoulder. So to come here do well as we did with the trouble we had, I mean, it's just great. And, you know, we got to say hi to Tracy Lawrence and Hulk Hogan out there and all of them people, because we're going to have fun this year, and we're going to have a Hulk Hogan car down there at Atlanta. So, you know, we can't wait to get there.
I'll tell you, you think he won the race. You think these guys aren't happy back here finishing 10th or 11th. I'll tell you, it is a struggle to run well in this series. It's a difficult series. Glenn Jarrett?
Well, thanks, Randy. And standing beside of Phil Parsons, had a good run today, finished 6th in the Luxair Chevrolet. Now, folks, here's a man who knows about TV, because when I came up to him, he looked at his watch, he said, man, you guys must be filling. Phil, overall, pretty good start to the season.
Well, it wasn't bad. You know, we got taken out early in a wreck at Daytona last week, trying to dodge someone right over us from behind. So that relegated us to a 30th place finish. So we needed to come and put a decent run on the board and get us some points, and so we can head on to Richmond. But I tell you, you know, my crew did a good job. The car handled perfect. I made a bad call on that one caution flag. I came in and topped off with fuel right after halfway, because I knew if it went green the rest of the way that we could go the rest of the way. There wasn't but a couple of us that did it. Morgan did it, and I did it, and I think David Bonner did it. So if it would have went green the rest of the way, you know, all the rest of the guys would have had to stop under green. So we'd have been really looking pretty, but it didn't. So I had to come back in and get tires, and that hurt us a little track position-wise. So that probably cost us a couple of positions. But I can't say enough about my crew, my Luxair crew. White Rose Collectibles is associate on the car, and Goodyear Tires did a super job. And all in all, it was a decent day.
Well, now you're talking about your crew. Let's talk about your crew chief, David Ift. We have a lot of fun with David during the telecast. We're always telling David Ift stories. I guess what I want to know, is he as much fun to work with as he is for us to talk about?
Well, I tell you, we had a deal at Daytona. As I said earlier, we got in that wreck, you know, so we had a lot of damage, and they had to patch the nose and the fender and all that. David went plumb berserk on the radio, just completely berserk, just lost it, you know, hollering and screaming, carrying on. So over here yesterday, we're practicing stuff, and I get a little bit excited, as I do occasionally. And David said, "You're going to have to calm down." I said, "Me calm down?" I mean, he went as wild as anyone I've ever seen at Daytona, and he was telling me to calm down. All the guys said, "I can't believe that David told you to calm down." But anyway, he has a lot of fun. He's a good guy. He knows what he's doing, and I think hopefully you'll see this 99 car in Victor Lane.
Well, what about your Winston Cup career? You had a good run at Daytona in the number 19 car. What's your schedule for Winston Cup now?
Right, our next race right now is Atlanta. We're definitely going to run Atlanta with a TriStar car. We're hoping to get some sponsorship. We really have nothing firm put together right now. We'd like to run all the races, but until then, we're gonna back up to our game plan, which was our original game plan, to run about 10, maybe 11, 12 races. We get sponsorship, and that could be more, but I can't say enough about those guys. I know a lot of those guys are home watching. Tell them, you know, I appreciate all their effort, and we'll get them in Atlanta.
Okay, thanks, Phil, and good luck to you. We just got a report that a lot of smoke out of the number 2 Rusty Wallace car when he went out for practice. He has pulled into the garage area. We'll hustle right over there and see if we can find out what the problem is.
All right, Bob Johnson or Hulk Hogan?
I was wondering, what would a Hulk Hogan car look like?
That's like, you know, Ginger or Mary Ann. You know, which one would you choose? Bob Johnson or Hulk Hogan? I don't know. Practice for tomorrow's Goodwrench 500 continues. As you see, a few familiar-looking paint jobs and many that aren't.
Mike Waltrip in the yellow car, the 30 car coming off the corner there. The new TIC team of Kenny Wallace following him down in the corner.
Car number 81 for the Phil Martossi team. Kenny Wallace carried those colors. Mike Waltrip is one of the few cars that looks like it did 1 year ago. We'll show you some more Winston Cup practice when we return to the North Carolina Motor Speedway after these messages. Rusty Wallace is back out on track, so whatever difficulty he had, that bit of smoke, David Evans and the engine crew of Penske South have cured, and he's back out practicing with Ricky Rudd. Let's go to Randy.
Well, Joe Bessie has come out from his trailer, watching a little Winston Cup practice. I said to you just a minute ago, a ninth, you got to take those. It was a well-earned ninth, I guess.
Yeah, we struggled all day. First time we've run this car, it's one of the Davisons. I want to say hi to everybody up in Dover. We ran one of their cars today, and first time I ever sat in it, and it ran well. We just struggled with it a little bit. We should have never qualified way back where we did. I made a little mistake there and paid for it a little bit, but we're good, and we just, after Daytona, we needed to come back with something solid like this. I mean, the biggest problem, we just got to get some sponsorship on the quarter panels of that car. We're struggling twice as hard because of that.
Joe, give the fans an idea how difficult it is. I mean, you got to be one of the best drivers in this series not to be able to obtain a sponsor. Part of your work goes into that as well, just trying to find some money to compete.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, every move we make has to be calculated financially, and I mean, that's the deal, but it's just a tough deal. It's not a science to it. It's just a matter of knowing the right people, being in the right place at the right time. We think we're doing everything right. We got some good, solid financial backing from the Davisons now, which makes us a little more soluble. Got a good, strong team, good equipment, and it'll come. It's just a matter of hanging on.
When's your next run?
We'll run Richmond next weekend. We're really looking forward to Atlanta. That's a strong track for us, and I think we can win at Atlanta.
Congratulations on another good day. Mike?
Thanks, Randy. Let's have a look at the Busch Series point standings. Chad Little at 360. And the next man to have a sharp look at is Johnny Benson, because he's the next Busch regular, 66 points back. Labonte is second. Mark Martin is third. And Jeff Green moves up to fifth in the points from seventh. Jim Bound, Rodney Combs, Mike Wallace, tied with Rodney there, Derek Cope, and Joe Bessie in 10th in the standings. Tracy Leslie, Phil Parsons, rookie Jeff Fuller, David Green tied with Jason Keller, back at 14th. Tough start for the champion. Larry Pearson and Doug Hevron, rookie Curtis Markham with Mike McLaughlin and Michael Waltrip. That's the top 20 after 2 races. Winston Cup practice continues here at the Rock as you watch Rick Mast and Robert Presley roll around the North Carolina Motor Speedway. We'll be right back. Next Saturday, the Hardee's Frisco 250 is right here on the network that brings you more Busch Grand National racing than all other TV networks combined. The Nashville Network, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, next Saturday, March 4th. And tomorrow, beginning at 12 noon, we'll show you how TNN gets its broadcast in gear to bring you the action of the Goodwrench 500 live from the North Carolina Motor Speedway. The top 20 for this race. First day qualifying, Buddy, was separated by only half a second. And in that top 20, John Andretti, rookie Ricky Craven, Joe Nemechek's up there, Dick Trickle, Bobby Hamilton, Randy LaJoie among some of the established stars, and it's kicked a lot of guys into the back 20 and into the back pit area for tomorrow.
Well, Chad Little may have run away with today's show, but you can't count on that tomorrow. It's too close, and there's too many good race teams in the race for tomorrow. It's going to be exciting from green flag to checker, and I guarantee you nobody will dominate tomorrow.
Jeff Gordon blistered him for the track record to win the pole.
Well, he's just got a roll going right now. I mean, he's doing things that a 23-year-old kid does not do, but nobody's told him yet. He's just a tremendous talent. I look for him to be very strong, but there's some good race cars right around him.
Well, Ricky Rudd, the former track record holder, starts right alongside him on the outside pole. Should be a lot of fun tomorrow, beginning at noon right here live on TNN. Let's go to the Winston Cup garage. Here's Glenn.
Well, thanks, Mike. We're standing by Rusty Wallace's car. We reported earlier that there was a smoking problem, and he came back into the pits before ever making a full green flag lap when practice started. The problem with the car was an oil line was left loose. It was no major problem. The crew chief, Robin Pemberton, told me it's just a mistake on somebody's part. Fortunately, they caught it in time, didn't cause any problems. Got a little oil on the back of the car. Other than that, everything's fine. Final preparations and tune-ups continue here for all the cars. We're standing here. Dale Earnhardt is getting ready to take his number 3 Goodwrench Chevrolet back out. So, fortunately for Rusty, no major problem. He'll be back on the track shortly.
Thanks, Glenn. Here's a look at how they will line up tomorrow. Jeff Gordon and Ricky Rudd, Chevy and Ford on the front row. The battling Bodines, Brett and Jeff, will start side by side in row number 2. Brett Bodine was the fastest car here in practice before qualifying. Ken Schrader and Derek Cope in the 3rd row. John Andretti and rookie Ricky Craven in row number 4. Row 5, Rick Mast and Todd Bodine. Row number 6, Michael Waltrip and Morgan Shepherd. In the 7th row tomorrow, Joe Nemechek and Dick Trickle. Row number 8, Bobby Labonte and Rusty Wallace. Row number 9, Bobby Hamilton and Jeff Burton. In row 10, you'll be riding with Mark Martin in our in-car camera. He'll be in the 10th row with rookie Randy LaJoie. Row number 11, second-day qualifier, Steve Grissom and Sterling Marlin. Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott in row number 12. In 13th row, Ted Musgrave and Dale Jarrett. In row 14, Kyle Petty and Jimmy Spencer. In the 15th row, Kenny Wallace and Terry Labonte. And there in row 16, you see Mike Wallace, and Mike Chase has been relieved as driver of the 32. Jimmy Hensley stepped aboard and put that car in the show in second-round qualifying today. We'll start in row 16. Row 17, Lake Speed and Jeremy Mayfield. Greg Sachs and Davey Jones in the 18th row. Row 19, Darrell Waltrip will have an in-car camera, and Robert Presley. Then the provisional, Steve Kinzer, Loy Allen, Ward Burton, and Dave Marcus. We'll be right back after this. Well, let's poll our TNN team on how they think tomorrow's Goodwrench 500 will go. Let's go first to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, I don't think we'll see any real surprises. Rusty Wallace will run well. Dale Earnhardt will also come up through the middle of the pack. I think Dale Jarrett will come up through there with him. Mark Martin always does well here, as we saw today. And I think the car that's been overlooked a little bit is number 11 of Brett Bodine. Awfully good qualifying run. He could be the sleeper. Randy?
Well, I'm going to make mine short and sweet. Mark Martin's gotten off to his best start after Daytona. They seem very, very pumped up here. I've talked to Steve Neal. I've talked to Mark in the garage area. Those guys are confident they're going to do well, and they're not always confident they're going to win, but they know they're going to run well. But I just have the feeling that Mark Martin is going to be the guy that goes to victory lane here tomorrow in the Goodwrench 500. This is the place that he got his first ever Winston Cup win, so I'm going with Mark.
Buddy?
Well, I'm going to change the world a little bit. I think that for my prediction, Rick Mast for what that's worth, but I also think one of the Hendricks cars may win too, so I'm going to take two and of this.
You're taking a Quinella. Well, last week I said Sterling Marlin had the fastest car, Earnhardt had the best car, so I guess I got a Quinella out of it. I think it'll be a Ford. I think it'll be Ricky Rudd or Brett Bodine. I agree. Brett was the fastest in practice before qualifying. They had to change the car a little, but could be one of those guys or any of 38 others. Let's show you the top 10, how they finished today in the Goodwrench 200. As we roll off air, Chad Little, Mark Martin, Terry Labonte, and Johnny Benson. 2 Fords and 2 Chevys ahead of Morgan Shepherd, Phil Parsons, Derek Cope, Mike Wallace, Joe Bessie, and Jeff Green. Join us tomorrow for flag-to-flag coverage of the Goodwrench 500 from the North Carolina Motor Speedway. For Glenn Jarrett, Randy Pemberton, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip, and Buddy Baker, I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Chad Little on his 2nd consecutive Busch Grand National victory in today's Goodwrench 200. So long, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.